In India, the election campaigning is on in full swing in the Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a public rally in Udhampur district and launched a scathing attack at the Congress, PDP, and National Conference for damaging Jammu and Kashmir. PM Modi also raked up the abrogation of Article 370, saying Modi demolished the wall of Article 370 and also buried its debris. Now, the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir will vote in 5 phases, beginning from April 19th in Udhampur constituency, followed by Jammu on April 26th and Anantnag on May 7th, Srinagar on May 13th and Baramulla on May 20th. The counting of votes will take place on June 4th. Just days before the first phase of elections in Jammu and Kashmir, the Jammu Kashmir National Conference has announced its candidates for the North Central Kashmir region. Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister and NC leader Omar Abdullah will contest from the Baramulla constituency, while party's Shia leader Agha Saeed Rahul will contest from the Srinagar constituency. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir will vote in 5 phases, beginning from April 19th in the Udhampur constituency, followed by Jammu on April 26th, Anantnag on May 7th, just repeating the dates for you again, Srinagar on May 13th, Baramulla on May 20th. The counting of votes will take place on June 4th, like we've already told you. In Delhi, the Aam Aadmi Party leader and Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has moved the court seeking interim bail for election campaigning. The special judge for the CBI and ED is likely to take up the interim bail application for hearing later in the day. Sisodia was arrested in connection with the alleged Delhi excise policy case. The investigation agency have alleged that irregularities were committed while modifying the Delhi liquor policy, and undue favours were extended to licence holders, such as waiving or reducing the licence fee and extending licences without the authorities' approval. New Zealand Foreign Minister Winston Peters meets US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and pledges to boost ties with Washington, D.C. amid the ongoing conflicts in West Asia and Ukraine. Peters said that New Zealand is facing the most unstable global environment in decades. Peters further added Wellington's focus will remain on building a prosperous and secure Indo-Pacific region, where the United States and China have been competing for influence. Now, New Zealand and the United States describe themselves as close strategic partners, and their relationship has become increasingly tight in the past couple of years due to concerns about China's presence in the Pacific. US President Joe Biden hosted an inaugural Trilateral summit in Washington, D.C., with Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in the midst of simmering tensions in the South China Sea due to Chinese aggression. Now, both the Asian heads of state gathered with Biden to showcase unity in countering China's military provocation in the Indo-Pacific region. United States, Japan and Philippines are expected to announce their next joint maritime exercises in the Indo-Pacific region this year. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has spoken to his counterpart in Turkey, China and Saudi Arabia to make it clear that escalation in West Asia is not in anyone's interest. Blinken's dialogues with West Asian foreign ministers come amid concerns that Iran will strike Israel in retaliation for an airstrike on Iranian embassy in Damascus. As tensions escalate in West Asia after Israel's airstrike at the Iranian embassy in Damascus, The White House has issued a statement that the United States was not involved in the Damascus attack that killed a top Iranian military commander. Suspected Israeli warplanes bombed Iran's embassy in the Syrian capital of Damascus on April 8th. This sparked a major escalation in Israel's war with its regional adversaries. Notably, the United States has been on high alert about possible retaliatory strikes from Iran. And talking about Iran, after Iran vows to retaliate against Israel after an air attack on its consulate in Damascus, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant reacts to Iran's threats, saying that a direct Iranian attack would require appropriate response. Gallant made the remarks while speaking to the U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. The Pentagon issued a statement saying that both leaders discussed Washington's ironclad commitment to Tel Aviv's security against threats from Iran and its proxies in West Asia. Staying with the region of West Asia, thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jews staged protests in Jerusalem over a potential new draft law which could end their exemption from military service. Last month, Israel's Supreme Court ordered an end to government subsidies for many ultra-Orthodox men who do not serve in the army. Most Jewish men are required to serve 3 years in the military, while Jewish women serve 2 mandatory years. The tensions between the ultra-Orthodox Jews and Prime Minister Netanyahu's government have grown due to the ongoing war between Israeli armed forces and Hamas militias, in which over 600 Israeli soldiers have been killed. More aid drops have been parachuted over the Gaza Strip today. The airdropping of humanitarian supplies are part of an international effort to work around extreme difficulties plaguing ground transport of aid into war-torn Gaza. Now, amid the airdropping operation, the Israeli armed forces continued its offensive on the Palestinian territory. Israel's war with the Hamas militants has entered the 7th month. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, over 33,000 people have died so far, including children and women, due to Israel's armed offensive in the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, in Lithuania, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky holds bilateral meetings with Hungarian President Damascus and Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis as part of the 3 Seas Initiative summit. The Central and Eastern European leaders gathered in the capital of Vilnius for the summit to discuss regional security and aid to Ukraine and Moldova. Zelensky also urged the European leaders to begin negotiations on Ukraine's accession to European Union in June. The 3 Seas Initiative Summit brings together a dozen of European leaders to discuss enhancement of cooperation in sectors of transport, energy, and cybersecurity. The Italian Coast Guard rescued 59 migrants and recovered 9 dead bodies in 2 separate incidents in the central Mediterranean Sea. The first operation, the Italian Coast Guard rescued 22 people and recovered 9 bodies after a smuggler's boat capsized in a storm. Few hours later, the rescuers saved 37 people. The number of crossing attempts are increasing, especially when Italian port rules are restricting operations of charity rescue boats. The International Organization for Migration has put the number of migrants missing along the central Mediterranean route from northern Africa to Italy at 385 so far this year. Supporters of Athletic Bilbao celebrate their first title since 1984 by sailing on a barge called La Gabara. Along the Nervion River, the supporters of the football club crowded the banks of the river following the side's 4-2 win on penalties against Mallorca on April 6th, which ended their 40-year trophy drought in Sevilla. Athletic Bilbao had lost their previous 6 consecutive Spanish Cup finals and a Europa League final to Atletico Madrid in 2012. A total of 27 Chinese nationals have been safely evacuated from Haiti to the neighboring Dominican Republic as gang violence escalates in the Caribbean island nation. This is the second batch of the Chinese evacuated from Haiti. The first batch of 24 Chinese nationals left on March 22nd with the help of Chinese embassy in the Dominican Republic. The Chinese nationals arrived in the border city of Jimani and were received by Chinese Ambassador Chen Luning. Haiti has been rocked by rising incidents of gang violence since February, when armed groups raided police stations, prisons and airports. According to the International Organization for Migration, over 50,000 people fled capital of Port-au-Prince between March 8th and March 27th. Violence in Haiti has intensified between armed gangs and security officials. The United Nations World Food Programme, or the WFP, issued a report by the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, which says nearly 5 million people are now facing acute food insecurity. Now, according to the WFP, violence, inflation and poor harvests have left Haiti with the worst levels of food insecurity. Haiti has been rocked by rising incidents of gang violence since February, when armed groups raided police stations, prisons and airports. According to the International Organization for Migration, over 50,000 people have fled the capital of Port-au-Prince between March 8th and 27th. Thousands of protesters gathered in Santiago as part of a nationwide strike demanding economic reforms in the South American nation. Union leaders addressed the agitated crowd and expressed discontent with President Gabriel Boric's government. The Workers' Central Union has called on the Boric government to address tax, pension and healthcare reforms. The union's demands include a salary that meets basic needs of their families and job creation initiatives. Tech giant Apple has sent a fresh round of threat notifications to some of its users in India, along with 91 other countries. The company has said that they might have been possible victims of a mercenary spyware attack. The Cupertino-based company had previously used the word state-sponsored to refer to such malware attacks in the past. The company sent out alert notification emails to possible victims. The content of the email reads, and I'm quoting here, "Today's notification is being sent to target users in 92 countries. And to date, we have notified users in over 150 countries in total." According to the notification email, mercenary spyware attacks are rare and more sophisticated than regular cybercriminal activity or malware. In more tech news, Meta has announced plans to test features on Instagram that are aimed at protecting teens from harmful content and potential scammers. The new feature will blur messages containing nudity. It will utilize on-device machine learning to analyze images within Instagram's direct messages. The new feature will get automatically updated for users who are under the age of 18. Meanwhile, adult Instagram users will have to manually select the desired option. Notably, this protection also extends to end-to-end encrypted chats. Meta is also developing a technology to identify accounts involved in sextortion scams. The company is testing pop-up messages to warn users who may have interacted with such accounts. New rules adopted by the US Federal Communications Commission promise to shed light on internet pricing with broadband consumer labels. Much like nutrition labels on food, these broadband labels aim to clarify what you are paying for when you sign up for an internet service. The labels will provide straightforward information about costs, performance, and hidden fees to maintain transparency. The service providers will have to give details such as monthly prices, potential price changes, internet speeds, and more. These rules are a part of the Biden administration's efforts to tackle opaque and misleading fee structures across various industries. While most providers will start showing these labels in April, smaller firms have time till the 10th of October to comply. And in the realm of business, software company WEX has sued HP for trademark infringement, accusing the company of misusing the WEX name. WEX has argued that HP's recently announced HP WEX workforce management platform will confuse customers. WEX has asked for unspecified monetary damages and an order forcing HP to stop using the WEX name. WEX has further alleged that HP adopted the name either knowingly or in reckless disregard of WEX's incontestable trademark rights. The yen's recent depreciation against the dollar has sparked concerns among Japanese policymakers. It could lead to increased costs for importing goods, impacting both retailers and households. Despite warnings from Tokyo authorities against excessive currency swings, the yen has weakened nearly 8% against the dollar since the beginning of the year. With the G20 meeting on the horizon, intervention may not be immediate, but the situation remains a focal point. Additionally, weak household spending coupled with expectations of a contraction in Japan's economy for the first quarter further complicates the Bank of Japan's decision-making regarding interest rate hikes. The US Senate Commerce Committee will grill Boeing over next week, over safety concerns. An expert panel's report in February criticized Boeing's safety culture following fatal 737 MAX crashes and a recent 737 MAX 9 incident. The FAA is also probing Boeing's manufacturing processes. Lawmakers want to hear how Boeing will address these issues. Separately, a Senate subcommittee will hear from a whistleblower engineer who claims Boeing ignored safety concerns on other Boeing models. Now, Boeing denies the claims and says it prioritizes safety. It is also in the process of regaining trust amid global CEO shakeup.